I don't think West Ham have been particularly good at seizing opportunity at certain points this season. Many times, particularly if I do a video on the morning of a game, I will say this is a good opportunity. Opportunity knocks. There's a good chance here. The first one that I remember really this season was a game against Aston Villa. It was sort of deep enough. The season was early, but it was deep enough into the season to make a difference. And I said, look, whoever wins this game will go above. Whoever won that game would have gone joint fourth with Liverpool. And I said, whoever wins this game can really push on and do something. Aston Villa, well, I mean, they trounced us really, didn't they? And I felt it was probably the start of a downward spiral for us. Our worst patch of the season sort of followed that. I don't think we recovered from that for a little while. And I felt there were a series of games after that where we really didn't sort of seize the moment, you know. But we've got one of those now, one of those today. And it's the match against Fulham. And it's not because whoever wins out of us and Fulham will go on and do any great things. But opportunity is there largely because of what West Ham have done. Because our form in the league has been pretty good. We've not been losing too many recently. Obviously had the really good win against Tottenham. But also because how other results have gone for us. So it actually means today, if we beat Fulham, not only do we go level on points with Manchester United, and I'll pick them for a very, very good reason, we go level on points with Manchester United, but we'd be above them because our goal difference would be better. Now, Man U have had a lot of stick this season. But in many respects, they got a lot of stick at the start. And then went on this run, which didn't get the sort of full credit that it deserved because they hadn't performed very well, but they were picking up points. Ten Hag was under a lot of pressure. They lost, and they lost badly against Bournemouth. But, well, listen, there's no way that any sort of historic, traditional Man U team under Alex Ferguson loses 3-0 at home to a team like Bournemouth. But Bournemouth have been on the up. I've mentioned this on a couple of occasions. I think some of the football they've been playing has been pretty damn good. So, but before that, you know, Man United seemed to be one of the teams that were getting away from us in the league. Newcastle seemed to be getting away from us in the league. Tottenham seems to be getting away from us in the league. But we are within a win of all of those teams. Now, we can't go above all of them because you've got this sort of weird thing where Tottenham are playing Newcastle, and that's going to be a really, really interesting game. It's one of 4 fixtures, us against Fulham. You've got Tottenham, Newcastle, Everton, Chelsea, which, again, impacts us in some way. You've got Luton and Man City, of course. But opportunity is there for West Ham in this game, and I find it really interesting to see what David Moyes is going to do because it can be a temptation for him to play all the players again, and I think he sort of will. We'll see more or less a full strength team. I covered that in yesterday's video, but David Moyes, and I don't like to particularly dig him out. I would hope that anybody say, "Oh, you know, stop going on at Moyes all the time." I praised him. Before you ever go, I absolutely said that David Moyes got it right after the Tottenham game, and I thought he did. So it's a case of when I think he gets something right, fair enough. But sometimes he just says the wrong thing. And what he's basically done is he's dismissed West Ham's chances of going for the top 6 this season. And maybe, just maybe, he's playing possum. Maybe he is. And maybe he doesn't actually believe what he said. But I think the messaging is poor. And I don't like it. And I would like to ask the question why. Let me just try and click on something here and tell you what David Moyes said. And this was talking ahead of the game against Fulham. He said, he was asked if West Ham can finish in the top 6. He said, I don't know if we can. If I'm being realistic, a top 6 finish is too much for us. Now, just before I tell you what else he said, I just want to say this, okay? West Ham at the moment have 24 points. Another win clearly takes us to 27 points. Manchester United are 6th with 27 points. And then sort of in between, we've got, well, Tottenham have also got 27 points. Newcastle got 26, Brighton 26, West Ham 24. Mathematically, there is no reason we can't finish 6th. Now, I would imagine there's probably a few of us who think, bearing in mind the way we've been playing, it's sort of unlikely that West Ham will finish 6th. I understand it. I just don't want to hear the West Ham manager saying it. But if I tell you this now, that really a third of the season has gone, pretty much, a bit more, but about a third of the season has gone. And our last 5, we won 3 of our last 5 in the league. We got a plus goal difference just about. Realistically, bearing in mind we're only 3 points from 6th position, why shouldn't he be going for it? And why would he say that? Anyway, it's what he goes on to say next, which I really don't like. He said, the level of the teams like Newcastle and Villa, with all their resources, is too much for us. Okay. and this is something that I must pick him up on. I wish he wouldn't say this. If I was a West Ham board, I'd be saying, what are you talking about? You've had as much money as Aston Villa. And when we appointed you, they had just been promoted. They're a championship team. If you think they are the immovable object and there's no way we can ever beat Aston Villa or finish above them, what's happened in this time that you've been in charge? Because we've backed you. This is what I'd be saying if I was the board. We've backed you with exactly the same money that Aston Villa has had. This guy, Emery, has been in a job little over a year now. You've been here a whole lot longer. Why? Not only why is they ahead of us? That happens. Stuff happens in football. But why are you speaking about him like he's uncatchable? I had a little look. Aston Villa have spent. I looked after the last transfer window, and in terms of the last few years, 3 years, basically since David Moyes has been in place, because you have to take it from some point. There's no point doing a generic 5 years. Since David Moyes has been in place at West Ham, in his second stint, Aston Villa have spent about £22 million more. We've both spent about £450 million. It's a lot of money, right? There ain't a lot in it. I'll be saying that. But bear in mind, Aston Villa were playing catch-up. We already were the Premier League team, right? Aston Villa playing catch-up. I said, well, how's that happened? So I don't like it. The whole Newcastle thing, I sort of understand it to an extent with Newcastle. But again, it's more the suggestion that Newcastle spent money because it's linked with them. Oh, I've got all the Saudi money. Newcastle have not spent as much as a lot of other teams. But the football that these teams are playing is a lot better. Anyway, he said, David Moyes goes on to say there are a bundle of teams amongst it and playing well. So because of that, it's going to be really tough. It is going to be tough. That's true. I don't mind him saying it's going to be tough. Whether we can hang on to their shirt tails, let's see where we can go. As I say, maybe he's playing possum here. Maybe that he's saying a completely different thing to the squad. Before I go any further, let me tell you what today's offer is. Today, Hammers Chat, 8 days of Christmas, right? It's 15% off all printed shirts. I don't know why I'm pointing up there. I should be pointing down there. 15% off all printed T-shirts. And we've got some cracking T-shirts at Hammers Chat. We really do. Look, it's hammerschatstore.com. Go and click the link below. You just put it in your basket, you'll automatically get 15% off all T-shirts for 24 hours. There'll be a new offer along tomorrow. I think it's a really, really good one. Go and look at all the T-shirts we got. We've got some great T-shirts in there. Hey, we got some not so good ones like Skamaka and Declan Rice and stuff like that. We got a misprint on there actually as well, saying that we are the 23-24 Conference League winners. That's not true. Anyway, so go and have a look. Go and have a look. Take your 15% off. Be a good opportunity for you to get some Christmas presents sorted out for fellow West Ham fans. So back to what he was saying. He said, we've steadily gone along. I can only try and win games and do what we're doing. We qualified for Europe after Christmas time. We're in the League Cup quarter-final. We'd like to be first in the Premier League, but we don't quite have that quality or ability. It's not that bothers me. It's the fact that he's dismissing sixth, and he's also saying Aston Villa and Newcastle. I would want, if I was him, and I knew that there was another manager who had exactly the same resources as me, but had started from behind me, that I started in the lead, yet he started lower down than me, yet he'd overtaken me. I would want to know why. I'd be questioning myself. And that's what I don't like. I don't mind him saying, or even thinking, that there's no way we can catch Man City. I don't mind that. They are in a different league. Look, even Arsenal to an extent, and so that was a shame. I've got to say, I was very pleased to see them lose to Aston Villa. It has to be said. I actually switched on the end. I saw it on my phone. I thought, I actually switched on and watched I watched for about 70 minutes in that game. I got to say, I was an Aston Villa fan for about 20. Well, it's more, but I think about 8 minutes extra time. It was a handball thing with Kai Havertz, if you saw that. So you know what? Even Arsenal got so much money, they took our best player from us, and there was nothing we could really do about it. And they could pay £100 million for a player. That's pretty impressive. And it wasn't the only money they spent in the window either. So look, big spending money with some of these clubs. I don't mind him not doing that, but just come on, Aston Villa, leave it out. And as I say, I'm very impressed with what they're doing, and I haven't got a bad word to say about Aston Villa at all. It's David Moyes looking at them like, oh, thou is not worthy. I mean, come on, mate. Do you know what I mean? Go out there and give them a bloody nose and do better. Do you know what I mean? With your own team. Don't be there thinking, oh, they're so much better and I can't finish sixth. And he's basically playing the orphan Oliver again with the old, please sir, can I have some more and all the rest of it. Leave it out. He's had a lot of money. There's no need for it. And he went on to say. He said, I'm fully aware that we're in a period where we're trying to make things better and we're trying to integrate 2 or 3 players. He's making out he's in a transition period. We were ahead of them. It's Aston Villa that are in the transition period, right? Right. This is David Moyes' team. It absolutely is. It's as simple as that. And it just annoys me a little bit. I don't mean to overly dig him out, but look, not my words, they're his words. Just wish he wouldn't end up saying this stuff. Anyway, that being said, I think he can, let his football do the talking. And he can do that today. And he can do that by winning against Fulham. And I think we will. And I think he'll do it with this squad. There's one thing West Ham are doing really, really right at the moment. And I think it's fitness. And I think it's with injury. And there was no surprise that the players, actually 3 players got injured on international duty, didn't they? It was Antonio, Bowen and Kudus. And I say this, and I don't want to tempt fate. I'm not even that superstitious, to be fair. Look, if the player gets injured against Fulham, it ain't because I've said it. It's because he's twisted his knee or something. It's as simple as that. But I think David Moyes really needs to start strongly against Fulham. I think he can. I think he will. I think we can beat them. If we do beat them, I think it could look really, really good. And I'm excited. I'm actually excited for it. So all I would say to him is, Dream a little bit, have a little bit of adventure. Go out there, look, you've got a new director of football. It's probably David Moyes' last season. Go out there, enjoy yourself, and try and win it. No one needs to hear the pragmatism. I really don't think we need to hear it. I mean, because the fact of the matter is we should be going out there to try and finish top 6. Why we're the 8th biggest spenders in the league. Why shouldn't you be able to aim a couple of places higher? Particularly when you're only 3 points off of it. And the team that are in 6th are 3 points ahead of you, and you've got a game in hand. Win it, 3 points. Come on, Moisey. Anyway, we'll catch you later at 2 o'clock kickoff. So we will see you an hour and 5 minutes before for myself and Gio doing a build-up show. Don't forget, check out those T-shirts.